Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up for you today. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $2.21 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is flat at the moment, as you can see. But look, we've been taking a beating over the last several days. Bitcoin now back down to 57,100 plus at the moment, off by 9% on the 7-day. Ethereum, we're going to take a look at these numbers here. Just over $3,000 at the moment. Up 1.4 on the 24-hour, but off by 12.1 on the 7-day. BNB Binance is off by 10.8. Solana's off by 4.7. We know that they got ETH VCs pumping the daylights out of them, and they're still off by almost 5% on the 7-day, no matter what kind of crooked mess they do. XRP's 43 cents. We're up 1.5 on the 24, but we're off by 8.2 on the 7-day. So let's look at the range of price very quickly here to see what we got. 44 cents is where we're sitting. We're ranging between 40 and 44 cents. We will keep an eye on it. We have some charts to look at before we get out of here today to kind of give us a snapshot of where we may be. I think you're going to love it. But let's take a look at this really quickly. You guys know about Link2, the best home for private equity, and no doubt about it, 995,000 registered users can't be wrong. We're getting ready to cross 1 million registered users. Now, why aren't you one of them? And if you are one of them, listen up. I've got some news for you. And if you aren't one of them, listen up, because you're going to want to take advantage of this for the first time. Ripple's available. Cerebras is available. Uphold's available. Stripe is available. Patreon is available. This is all private equity that you could be putting in your portfolio right now today. Chainalysis is available. Axiom Space is available, for goodness sakes. They're going to commercialize traveling to space. Let alone, there are other opportunities in the space sector that I can't even mention. That tells you should click the link below, check out my sponsor, and sign up and get registered today and buy that private equity before it's gone, because we never know when the last time will be available. Here we see breaking CoinShares reports $441 million inflow into digital asset investment products amid Mt. Gox and German government sell-off of Bitcoin. Inflows reached $398 million, but you can't see it, and I can't see it because German government started a huge sell-off, and that pulled the market down. That's what everyone's telling us it is. Okay, well, it's something. Now, I want to check this out. You know, I often get people that ask me, can you do a kind of macro overview of XRP to show the newbies in the space, because the channel gets so far advanced in just covering current events that a lot of people, when they're coming new to the space, don't understand what we're talking about. And I do get that, and I do apologize for that. But Will Fix right here, and give Will Fix a follow, has done it. He has a freeway analogy. Probably the best analogy I've ever seen used in an example of how XRP will work in ETFs and for payments. And this will create a virtuous cycle and a flywheel effect. No question about it. Now, I have this clip, and I'm going to play it for you right here. Let me cue this up right now and get this ready for everybody. 1 second. All right, here we go. Again, shout out to Will Fix and give him a follow right here. Let's get started.
This analogy of XRP is to illustrate how the available XRP tokens are diminished by retail ownership, institutional ownership on balance sheets, and several other situations that remove XRP from being able to be utilized for cross-border payments. Therefore, increasing the demand by reducing the supply ultimately will drive the price to the moon. Imagine a bustling freeway where cars zoom back and forth, just like XRP tokens being bought, sold, and used for cross-border payments. The freeway is the XRP ecosystem, and each car represents an XRP token. Now, let's talk about the parking lots. These represent the different types of XRP holders. You've got the individual wallets, which are like small parking lots where people park their cars, XRP, when they're not using them. Then you've got the institutional parking lots where companies and organizations park their XRP on their balance sheets, just like a fleet of company cars. Next up, we have the liquidity pool parking lots. These are like those fancy valet parking services where you hand over your car keys and let someone else drive your car around for a fee. In the same way, liquidity pools allow XRP holders to earn fees by lending their tokens to facilitate cross-border payments. Of course, we can't forget about the biggest parking lot of them all, the ETF parking lot. This is like a massive parking garage where people can park their XRP and earn returns, just like investing in an ETF. Now here's the catch. Not all of the cars XRP in the parking lots are available for use. They're parked and not being utilized, just like how some XRP is held by individuals and institutions and not being used for transactions. The AMM liquidity pool acts like a car rental service, allowing people to borrow XRP to facilitate payments. So when someone wants to use XRP for cross-border payments, they can only use the cars, XRP, that are for sale on exchanges or from individuals on exchanges. Now let's talk about the limited supply of XRP. With only 50 billion XRP available at an estimated price of 50 cents each, the demand for XRP grows every time someone buys and holds it. Just like how the value of a rare vintage car goes up when more people want to own it. And let's not forget about the 50 billion XRP in escrow. Yes, some are released at times, but don't forget that most are sent back into escrow. And when this action occurs, remember this. Those tokens are in lockup for a minimum of 40 months. So many XRP tokens are in escrow and unavailable for use. Also, I want to say this. Institutions and banks do not mind if the price of XRP is $25,000 each. They see it as an inexpensive way to move value in seconds. That reminds me to address this thought. Some have pointed out that if XRP can transfer value in 3 seconds, then it can be converted into the fiat currency of the bank or institution's choice. So, therefore, XRP will not realize the added value of that transaction, but for moments. Although this sounds reasonable, you should know this will not happen this way. Banks and institutions will need XRP the very next day. They not only receive, but also send payments. The fees associated with converting every single transaction into their fiat currency are unnecessary. Banks will still use Nostro and Vostro accounts for payment settlement, and human oversight will always be an aspect. This oversight requires time. Final settlement of a transaction is not simply money received, so the notion that XRP will be instantly cashed out is actually a false notion. Now, it can also be realized that these settlement accounts will not be as big as needed for the SWIFT system, but also know that they will definitely not be eliminated. So, there you have it. A light-hearted analogy that compares the world of XRP to cars on a freeway. Just remember, this is all in good fun. And the actual workings of XRP and its ecosystem are much more complex. But hey, who said finance couldn't be a little bit entertaining?
No doubt about it. And shout out to Will Fix again for that clip. What a great clip. And give him a follow, no question. Look, you know, I want to go back to this whole car analogy where this started. And this is fantastic because if you remember in the early days when cars were invented, they actually passed a law that there had to be a person that walked out in front of the car holding red flags on sticks to let others, people riding horseback or just walking or riding a bicycle, to know that there was a car coming. They literally passed a law that said that. And this is the moment we're in, right? Because, I mean, obviously we understand the analogy. You should play that for anybody who needs to see it. But Dubai approved XRP for global payments. You can see it right there as he's riding by. Person's riding by. Ripple right there. We see it. We know where this is going. But we have trouble here in the United States because whether we're talking about crypto legislation or SAB rules written directly inside of the Securities Exchange Commission by Gary Gensler that need to be overturned. The United States is behind, and we are a laggard when it comes to legal clarity in the United States for digital assets. Now, the U.S. may vote this week to overturn President Biden's veto on the crypto-related bill for SAB 121. Now, just very quickly here, we do not want SAB 121 in place because it inhibits the banks from participating in digital assets broadly and custodying them. So we need to get rid of that rule, and that's why Biden vetoed it, because he knew that that bill was passed to stop the SEC from preventing banks. But we want to allow banks to be able to participate in custodying digital assets. So we need to get that bill overturned. I hope that the U.S. House does a vote and repeals that and then sends it to the Senate, because that was a bipartisan effort right there, right? So we'll see what happens here. And we know that Biden administration is meeting with crypto advocates on the left side of the aisle this week as well. Meanwhile, over in the EU, they've passed the first leg of MiCA regulations, and that is going to be for stable coins. And Circle, USDC, and EuroC have become the first global stable coin to achieve compliance with MiCA regulations in the European Union. And I want to remind people about the Zakanoff case in California against Ripple. That class action has been destroyed. The only thing left now is one statement from Brad Garlinghouse in that case, and it's left to what the damages may be directly to Zakanoff, the individual, not the class action anymore. That's gone. So what I see and the way I understand this, if I understand this correctly, basically the guy that Zakanoff lost a few $100s. It looks like he was weaponizing the legal system against Ripple. At most, he gets his few $100s back, right? This is not something that is going to inhibit what's happening with the SEC versus Ripple case, which I remind everybody there. Well, let's listen to this, and then I'll remind you.
I think
this is the Harvard legal team talking about somebody's going to end up getting sued about the actual use cases. And this is what I have been saying forever about the SEC versus Ripple, that it's just as much a vetting and audit process as it is a legal process for this legal case. Because Microsoft was sued, Amazon was sued, Tesla was sued, and they're still around. Because I believe the SEC has turned into a giant pay to play. But listen to this quick clip.
I think kind of more specific, but I think in 2019 or within the probably next 2 years or so, there's going to be a case, going to be a test case of whether or not, like the application of Howey to legitimate non-fraud token sales and token projects that are legitimate use cases, that's not in question, and whether or not how these steps apply.
There you have it. And that's exactly what we've seen. We saw the SEC sue Ripple. And I have always believed and said from this position, and I can't prove it, that how did they know? How did Ethereum and how did the SEC know to sue Ripple? There were almost 800 tokens at the time when they decided to sue Ripple. So just under 1,000 tokens, and they knew to sue Ripple, right? Well, that's because I believe that Ripple is just as much a commission company as it is a startup. I can't prove that either. It's my speculation. However, if you look at these things and you say to yourself, if it was commission, then these people in this public office understood that and understood that there would have to be this legal process of going through this audit vetting process to bring it inside the financial system, like Amazon, Microsoft, and Tesla. And if that is the case, then Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton and all them had knowledge about the importance of Ripple and the technology of the XRP ledger. Vitalik Buterin, for that matter, slept on Stephen Thomas's couch for 2 weeks and got the key value protocol he needed to finish Ethereum and make it complete. So all of them, if that is accurate, had knowledge of the power of Ripple and XRP and why they should be targeted. Because the government's going to use it. For large corporates like Ripple to be successful in crypto, they need a government willing to work with them. That's where we're going. And that's what I believe is happening here. That's why there's so many people from the U.S. Treasury that have come through Ripple's camp and still there, like Rosie Rios. Lauren Believe, Ripple's head of U.S. public policy, who confirmed in this video clip, and I don't need to play it again, that they're working with the New York Fed, the NYDFS, the state of New York itself, the U.S. Treasury, on and on and on. It's not going to be a part of the system. It is the system. Chad Steingraber, give him a follow. Shout out to Chad. The market is still following the pattern of the past, each having sees a down period in altcoins, currently at the low of this pattern. Every time before was thought to be the end. This time, we add the biggest asset managers in the world participating. Oh, he's absolutely right about that one. Is altcoin season canceled? I don't think so. You can see right here where we're going here. We're at the bottom of this cycle. All we got to do is hang out and watch it happen. This is amazing. And then here, right here, we know there has been a call. There's been a call right here from Dark Defender that we could see $18 XRP, ladies and gentlemen. And I say, why not? And here's the actual chart that shows it. You know, we've seen the low of 39 cents. Have we seen the end of it? I don't know. We still don't know where USD Tether sits as the largest stablecoin offering currently right now to date. So we'll keep an eye on that too. But right now we're going into the Freedom Zone. And trust me when I tell you, you are going to want to join us in the Freedom Zone, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Today we're going to shatter the matrix. And I hope you'll join us because it is for you. Go to digperspectives.com, click on the Freedom Zone, and come on in. All right, let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's